Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now I said there'll be a second video today, and I must confess, I've been looking forward to making this all day. But I thought I'd get the other video out the way first, because that was the more serious of the two, and I wanted to end today on a lighter moment. I mean, the subject matter is a bit naughty, but the manner in which it's been done is so hilarious and so botched, and so incompetent, it's just nothing short of hilarious. And I know you've seen the thumbnail, and I know you've seen the title, but let's just play a game. Which company has kept their head down recently and not had too many problems, considering the vast amount of problems they had towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year? Why, you're absolutely correct. Bethesda! Well, guess what, folks? It's over, because they're back in trouble again. And this is taken from Ars Technica, which I will link in the description box down below. And I thoroughly recommend that you check this article out in its entirety, because I'm going to go through a few examples in this video, but there are loads of examples. So if you want more laughs, you've got loads more examples to go through. So check this article out after I've gone through it. So I've scrolled this up for a reason, and I'll go through this first paragraph. A promotional Elder Scrolls themed desktop RPG adventure released by Bethesda Tuesday contained widespread instances of apparent plagiarism from a Dungeons & Dragons adventure published by Wizards of the Coast in 2016. That adventure was pulled down from the internet Wednesday afternoon, and Bethesda now says it is investigating the source. Oof, which source? Was it barbecue? Now, this is what I'm actually referring to. So let's just bring this up, and on the left-hand side here is the D&D Adventure from 2016, and on the right-hand side here is the Elder Scrolls Adventure from 2019. So I'm just going to read this first paragraph, and then I'm going to read the other paragraph, and just tell me, just close your eyes, people. Let me take you on a journey, a mystery, a fantasy, and tell me if you can spot any similarities between the two. So here's the first one. There's nothing like the desert to make people feel small and insignificant. In every direction, huge dunes roll across the landscape, and an even bigger sky looms above. The oasis of is a motley collection of sun-bleached tents in the vast desert. Okay, so now let's see what Bethesda's version sounds like. Nothing beats the desert to make people feel small and unimportant. In every direction, enormous dunes roll across the landscape, and an even larger empty air skies above it. The oasis on the border between Cyrodiil and Elsewhere is a colourful collection of sun-drenched tents in the vast desert of Elsewhere. So let's just go through the first sentence on each again. There's nothing like the desert to make people feel small and insignificant. Nothing beats the desert to make people feel small and unimportant. In every direction, huge dunes roll across the landscape, and an even bigger sky looms above. In every direction, enormous dunes roll across the landscape, and an even larger empty air skies above it. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's just say that this is serendipitously coincidental. You know, if you put enough monkeys in a room, eventually they'll create the works of Shakespeare, or so the saying goes. So maybe it was a fluke, just a fluke, that this was positioned. So let's read a second one, shall we? Let's read a second one. The Dragonborn. That's ironic, because that's actually from from Skyrim. The Dragonborn delivers water as well as dates, olives, and bread. Before long, you are joined by a lean, half-elven man with a long, craggy face and the dark skin and hair that shows his Rashemi ancestry. Now let's go and read the Bethesda one. The Argonian servant delivers water, dates, olives, and bread. It does not take long for you to be accompanied by a skinny Khajiit with a long, straight face and a dark, striped coat. Is it just... Can we just read the first sentence again? The Dragonborn delivers water as well as dates, olives, and bread. The Argonian servant delivers water, dates, olives, and bread. Wow. Okay, so we've got maybe a serendipitous coincidence. And now we've got a coincidence. Let's just be honest here. So let's just go through a third and final. And there are 11 examples of this. I'd like to stress 11 examples of this. Okay, so I'm just going to end it with this one. Travel in the desert is slow, hot, and full of blistering sun. There are no clouds, no promise of water anywhere. Let's go on to the Bethesdas. Traveling in the elsewhere desert is slow, hot, and I can't keep a straight face. Is slow, hot, and full of sizzling heat from the sun. Oh, piss off. All right, okay. I'm going to take exception to something now. You know when you put apparent plagiarism? Can we just change that to blatant plagiarism? Right, come on. This is ridiculous. This is actually ridiculous. What they have done, and I think this is Bethesda in the Netherlands. Maybe in the Netherlands, that created this. But they've clearly just taken this D&D adventure, changed the wording to fit the lore of the Elder Scrolls, and just plonked it out there. And what is just baffling beyond compare, right? Wizards of the Coast are not a small company. They're the people behind Gathering the Magic, or Magic the Gathering, one of the two. It's a massive company, and all their stuff is very much sought after. And then on top of that, D&D Adventures are making a huge resurgence right now. You've got Twitch channels like Critical Role and stuff, who are actually being advertised on billboards for their D&D material, and they're drawing in huge crowds when they do their D&D adventures. So to think, I mean, I'm not for one moment suggesting that this is what you should do, but it's not like they thought, oh look, there's a little minnow writer here. What minnow means small, tiny. Little tiny writer here, and we've found some of his fantasy writings. Let's just, because we're a bunch of lazy arseholes, let's just nick that. It's not like they did that, right? It's like their art teacher gave them a project and said, right, for your dissertation or whatever, you need to create an original piece of art. And so they go to the Louvre and look at the Mona Lisa and go, all right, we'll have that. And then go hand it in to teacher and be like, ta-da! And the teacher's just like, taking a piss. That's what it's like. It's like, how did you think? In what world are you living in that you think that you could steal from a company that's so massive that nobody would realise? It's baffling. These people's stupidity is baffling. So it goes on to say here, which is pretty much what I've said, Bethesda's pen and paper Elder Scrolls Elsewhere adventure, archived here for reference, so you can click onto it and see it for yourself, contains text that in total seems only slightly reworded from the D&D adventure, The Black Road, written by Paige Lightman and Ben Heisler, as part of Wizards of the Coast's organised play programme. Now, I do apologise to Paige and Ben if I butchered your surnames up, but I saw some of their tweets from the pair of them. And they started off, they weren't like massively angry. They were kind of like, hey, stop nicking our stuff, which they've got absolutely every right to do. And what is like really, when I say nice, is that the people behind the actual D&D adventure said, look, we have no problem whatsoever if they wanted to take the actual mechanics of how the adventure would play out. If they wanted to use the mechanics of, you know, how it fights and blah, 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 no problem at all. But what we do have a problem with is if you take the adventure, create your own adventure, or buy their adventures. But they said we've got no problem with them using the mechanics, you know, and everything that we have how we structure it. That's fine. That's up for grabs. But create your own adventures. And they've just gone and tea-leafed from these people. And then here, just to kind of wrap this up, the similarities often extend to gameplay, which they've said is fine, and scenario details as well, which is not. Here's a description of a caravan players can encounter in the Black Road. 4 wagons, each pulled by 2 foul-tempered camels. 1 wagon carries the caravan's food. 1 wagon carries the caravan's water and a shipment of medicine herbs. 1 wagon carries a shipment of weapons. One wagon contains a statue of... The caravan travels and sleeps in 2 shifts every day. Travel from pre-dawn until noon. Sleep from noon until late afternoon in the shade. Travel from the late afternoon until after dinner time. Sleep from after dinner time until pre-dawn. And here's a description of the caravan in elsewhere. 4 carts pulled by 2 horses. 1 cart carries all the food. 1 cart carries the water and the medicine. 1 cart carries large loads of weapons. 1 cart carries the statue. This whole thing is just nicked. Stolen. I don't think I'll stick the word allegedly in there for legal reasons. But, I mean, come on. So go, look, there's more. Well, I went up to here. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and more. 2 more. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see what Bethesda come out with, because this, to me, is blatant. Absolutely blatant. Naughty. Shame on you. And just go serious for a second. Just the absolute... well, lazy is the right word. Just the absolute laziness of these people. Because the Elder Scrolls games have incredible lore. They've got incredible lore, incredible races, locations, character, you know. And the fact that they couldn't create something from that is mind-boggling. They had to go and steal. And they had to go and steal from a huge company. Ugh. So there we go. Bethesda are back in trouble, and we'll see where this one eventually ends up. But I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links there in the description box down below, and this article. Go read it. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.